All right, good morning, everybody. Excuse me. Good morning. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to a full day of action-based gameplay streaming. What I mean by that is, unlike yesterday, which was all like sci-fi stuff, today we get back down to earth. Today, it is time for a lot of competitive style gameplay. A good variety of stuff today for sure. A game that I've never even played before, that just out of nowhere was released on PS Plus in a brand new version, which I'm excited to try out because it's a fighting game, and I have not played a new fighting game in about a year. So it'll be exciting to try out a new kind of a franchise that I've never touched before. Plus, you know, some first-person shooter action later tonight, which is always a good time. You guys have asked me to bring that back to the rotation. So, action-packed day for sure here on the streams. Today is Thursday, the 3rd of June, 2021, and I welcome you all to my gameplay streams today. A few things to talk about on the pre-stream today for sure. One thing that I want to say right up front, because this came to my attention overnight, I got a few messages from people. Both emailed and a couple people who kind of messaged me behind the scenes, and they were like, hey, Phil, you know, yesterday YouTube didn't seem to send out any messages or notifications that you were streaming. Since you returned to YouTube last month and you're now streaming full-time on YouTube, a lot of people have moved here and subbed to my channel, DSPGaming. When you subscribe to the channel, you're supposed to get a notification whenever a video goes live or whenever a live stream goes live. This is a way that many people will get, you know, notice and say, oh, Phil's playing that game? I'll head over and see if I can check it out live. But I got quite a few people who yesterday said they didn't get any notification at all that my streams had gone live. Both with Returnal and, in particular, last night with Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Now, last night, Mass Effect Legendary Edition was a pretty slow stream. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty damned slow. Attendance was low. And I don't know if that was a result of this happening, or let's face it, Mass Effect is a pretty old game. It's a game that I've played twice before. The third playthrough isn't exactly the most interesting. So it very well may be that only, you know, people who have that nostalgic factor, who maybe have watched the playthrough back in the day, want to watch me play the game again. I don't know. But what I will say is this, okay? There's a few things you should know since now we have fully moved over to YouTube together, right? We're all over here every day now streaming. There's a few things that everyone should know. This should hopefully cover all the bases. First of all, yes, absolutely you should subscribe to DSPGaming. Unlike back in the day, I don't spam this channel with content anymore. This is not a channel that gets 100 videos a day or anything like that. All my videos are recorded in 1 hour long segments, if not longer. So, for example, on this very stream today, I will likely have 3 gameplay videos and the pre-stream video from this first stream. And then later tonight, I'll probably have 2 more videos for the late stream. So that's what, 6 videos? That's not a big deal. It's not like back in the day when I used to make 10-minute long videos and every day you'd get 30, 40 videos spammed on the channel. And then if you had subbed, you know, notifications on, oh my God, your inbox would be destroyed. It's not like that anymore. Okay, so if you like the content, if you want to know when the new content is coming out, or if you want to know when my live streams are going live, you're going to want to subscribe to DSP Gaming. It's free, it's easy, you just click the sub button, okay? Now, I wish that it was that simple and that was the end-all be-all of it. Apparently it's not, all right? Apparently, on YouTube over the years, they have changed a lot about the site. And I guess just subscribing to the channel may not be enough. Some people have told me that when you actually go, like, deeper in after subscribing to a channel, if you go to your feed, I guess where all your subscriptions are, on that feed, you can then click on the specific channel, all right? And then when you click on that channel, then you have to check off certain boxes of what you'd like to be notified of. I guess what it is there's maybe one option where maybe you will get all notifications when any piece of new content is released. Then there's another one that's like, oh, just do it in batches and give me like one notification a day or something like that. So you have to take a look at that, because if you don't, you may get a notification 7 hours after I've streamed that I was live streaming. Okay? So just warning you, I know they've changed it over the years. It used to be simplified. Now it's like complex as hell, apparently. And you got to give it a look to try to figure that out. Okay? Now, even with all of that enabled, you still might not get proper notifications from YouTube. Okay? You still may have issues. So what I strongly recommend is as follows. Not only subscribing to DSPGaming here, but also follow me on Twitter at TheyCallMeDSP. Alright? Every single time that I go live on a stream, I tweet about it so that you guys know that I'm going live on the stream. Every time that I'm uploading videos to YouTube, I will tweet about it ahead of time so you know that that batch of videos is going live. Now, sometimes I will also tweet once videos are done, but I don't usually do that much anymore. Like, that was something I used to do all the time and tweet out the playlist, but I've since stopped doing that. I feel like maybe that's a little excessive. Just as long as you know that the videos are going live, you know to check out the channel. I don't tweet a lot, all right? So, for those of you who are like, man, I don't want to follow Phil on Twitter because now I have to put up with a bunch of tweets and shit. I don't tweet a lot. You know, very, very rarely am I maybe tweeting outside of what I just mentioned. Maybe a couple times a week, I'll tweet up about something that's I feel is important. Maybe new game news or something like that. I don't spam my Twitter feed with a bunch of crap. A lot of people do that. They're sitting on social media, posting up a bunch of bullshit. I don't do that. I don't play that game. Mine is mostly business and game related. All right? So, don't worry about, oh, if I follow Phil on Twitter, I'll get spammed with a bunch of crap. You probably won't. Now, another thing. You don't have to have a Twitter account to actually follow my Twitter account. This seems to be some kind of a weird misconception. All you need to do is go to twitter.com/TheyCallMeDSP. You could favorite it as a bookmark or whatever, and once a day go check it out. By the way, at night when I am done with all of my gameplay, when my streams are finally going offline for the day, I do a final tweet that is the schedule for the rest of the week, and then I do a tweet that's an audio-only schedule. Now, I just started doing this in the past 6 months. I've done this for accessibility purposes because I am well aware that I have viewers who are blind. And so if I'm posting up a JPEG picture of a schedule, they can't read it. So I post up an audio-only schedule where I just basically talk out the schedule. So if you don't want to watch or read the schedule, you can just listen to the audio file. All right? People really seem to like this, and it's the primary reason why people follow me on Twitter. You'll notice that when I tweet out, I don't get a lot of follows. I don't get a lot of retweets. I don't get a lot of favorites. And the reason for that is sadly because of, as you guys know, tons of trolling behavior on the internet towards me for no good reason at this point. You know, maybe at one point there was. At this point, certainly not anymore. People basically read the tweets, and I know because if you take a look at Twitter stats, you can see that my tweets get tons of views. I mean, every tweet I put out gets thousands of people checking them out. All right? I have over 25,000 Twitter followers. But most people do not interact with the tweets because they don't want people to then harass them online. I don't blame them. I don't blame you if you're someone who reads all my tweets and doesn't fave or retweet or interact with me, because sadly, people tend to attack people online just for simply interacting with me. Okay? So, that's the deal. I know this is all complicated because it is. I wish that it was simple. It's not. All right? If you want to be in the know about the content I'm putting out, first of all, subscribe to this channel, DSPGaming on YouTube. That should be good enough to give you notifications. But YouTube isn't always foolproof. Sometimes you have to check off manual boxes of what you want to be notified of. And even then, sometimes the notifications don't go out. So I recommend you follow me on Twitter at TheyCallMeDSP. Even if you don't have a Twitter account, if you just check the account a couple times a day, you should still get the information you need, including daily schedule updates and the like. Okay? I realize it's been a long-ass time since I talked about that on a stream. Like, maybe I should start, at least for now, for the short term, start regularly mentioning it again, so that way people who maybe are just jumping onto my content again for the first time in a while now know what the heck is going on. Okay? Let's talk about the schedule for this week. Let's talk about some updates to the schedule, because we just got a big update in regards to all the information coming out this month, E3 and the like, plus Summer Games Fest. There's a lot to talk about. I'll talk about that all in a moment. But let's talk short term. Let's talk about what you guys can expect from my gameplay or my gaming schedule. Okay? So today, this stream right now is my first ever stream of Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. This is a version of Virtua Fighter 5, including all expansion and update content over the years, plus updated visuals. The game is running on the Yakuza 7 graphical engine, which is pretty cool. To see the game with updated visuals, the original game is from way back when, in 2006. So to see this game 15 years later with insanely updated modern visuals is pretty cool. Now, this game is free on PS Plus. If you have a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation Plus subscription, you can get it right now. Now, to make these things perfectly clear, because I don't want any misconceptions, I have never, ever in my history played Virtua Fighter 5 at any consistent amount. I have never played it competitively. I don't know much or anything about the series. All right? What I do know is that Virtua Fighter 5 was, Virtua Fighter in general was actually the first ever 3D fighting game. It was in arcades before Tekken. A lot of people say, oh, it looks like Tekken. No, it was out before Tekken. Tekken actually borrowed some mechanics from Virtua Fighter with their series. It just so happens Tekken ended up becoming the more popular franchise worldwide, while Virtua Fighter kind of faded into the annals of history, as they say. Now, this should be interesting because since this is the free for PS Plus game this week, undoubtedly a lot of people are going to be playing it for the very first time, knowing nothing about the franchise, just like me. So I am, I'm accustomed to playing games that I know stuff about. I have a huge background in Street Fighter. I've played Tekken back in the day. I played Tekken 1 through like 4 in arcades. I played Tekken 5, 6, and 7 at home. So I know the basics of Tekken. I don't know the basics of Virtua Fighter, so very, very high chance here that I'm going to play and have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Okay? Now, that's okay. That's absolutely okay. People wanted to see me try this out, and I'm willing to give it a shot, knowing nothing about the franchise. Okay? I'm going to be, learning it from the ground up. So that if that means today, if I boot the game up and there's a tutorial mode, I'm likely doing the tutorial mode. Is there a story mode in the game? I have no idea. Or is it more like an arcade game where it's based on just playing through a series of characters, AI-controlled characters against, arcade classic ladder, and then you have a boss at the end? I don't know. What's the robustness of the online mode for this game? I don't know. This is brand new. I don't know anything about it. Okay? So, let's see what happens today. This should be pretty interesting, to say the least. Now, if I play this today, and it seems interesting, and, I'm getting into it a little bit, you guys are liking it, I could play it, much more in the future. Maybe I could play it on Saturday or Monday, and I could make it part of my regular schedule for the month of June, see how we do. Maybe I could do some online multiplayer sessions and the like, depending on how much I learn about the game or whatever, okay? Or vice versa, if I play it and I'm not really enjoying it, I don't really get it, you guys aren't liking it, you think it's boring, I don't have to play it again. It's free. So there's actually no risk and all reward here, all right? I mean, obviously what I would like to happen is I play it and maybe I'm intrigued by it, or I start to have some fun, and then I start to learn characters, and maybe over the course of the next few weeks we play it a few times and enjoy it, and maybe play some online sets and everything. That would be good. But it's basically, there's no guarantee. I would say that the game's probably going to be pretty popular for a couple of weeks since it's free for PS Plus, but very, very strong chance by the end of June the game might be dead anyway, right? Once it's not the featured game anymore, it might die out. I'll give you a perfect example here. A couple years ago, there was Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered was the free for PS Plus game for a month. During that month, that game had a ridiculous amount of players, so it was actually very fun to play it online for the month. And then after that, the game completely died because people moved on and did other stuff after the month was over. So, we'll see what happens, okay? No skin off my back, no risk. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it's entertaining. Hopefully you guys like it. and maybe it'll be something that I'll add to the schedule for the next few weeks. Maybe not. Let's just see together. I have no idea what to expect today. I know that what the game looks like, and I know that it's kind of floaty. What I mean by that is the Virtua Fighter franchise has always had this thing where if you hit with a counter hit or a combo, the characters will kind of float a little bit, which is kind of unrealistic, but at the same time, it lends itself to a lot of juggles and air grabs and stuff. But I don't really know how the engine works. Like, I don't know the properties of said combat engine, so I can't really talk about it until we play it, okay? So let's see what happens today. I'm excited for the very first exposure to a franchise, all right? Cool. Now, later tonight, the late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time will be Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And unlike when I played this for an hour on Monday, it won't be a national holiday, so hopefully we won't have every single person under the sun trying to play it at the same time, and hopefully the connections will be much better. I tried to play this on Monday. It was, like, completely unplayable. The hit detection was so delayed that the game was just super-duper annoying. You couldn't even really legitimately get any kind of kills, and it was just a pain in the ass. It wasn't fun. So I'm hoping that tonight that settled down somewhat, and we can go back to having some fun, some silly fun. And by the way, there's no way I'm using that stupid Farah gun or whatever I've been using. That gun sucks ass. I'm going to either go back to another gun or do something different. So, Call of Duty tonight should be fun, 6:45 p.m., okay? Tomorrow, Friday, we are returning to Fallout New Vegas. It's going to be the main gameplay stream tomorrow. You guys really seem to enjoy the Fallout New Vegas Marathon back on Tuesday. And so I'm very excited to continue the playthrough starting tomorrow. It'll be a regular playthrough that mixes in with all my other streams, okay? I had a surprising amount of fun with Fallout New Vegas a few days ago. It shocked me how much fun it was. Because even though the game's incredibly outdated, it just has a charm of its own. The writing, the characters, the silliness of some of the combat and story, and the glitches. The glitches are effing hilarious, man. They seriously just add to the charm of the game. So, I can't wait for more New Vegas tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Tomorrow night, Friday night, it's Friday Night Fights, old school Street Fighter fun on the late stream, okay? Now, Saturday is currently up in the air. Why is it up in the air? Because it really depends on how things go today. If we have a lot of fun with Virtua Fighter today and you guys want to see more right away, then probably Saturday's main gameplay stream will be Virtua Fighter, all right? If today's all right, but we're not dying for more right away, then what I'm going to do on Saturday is I am going to try to finish Mass Effect 1. And the truth is, I think we will, because we basically are on Ilos now, and all we have to do is the rush to the Citadel, the final gauntlet of enemies, which takes a while. It's kind of challenging. But once we're through that, then it's just the final push to the Citadel, final boss at the conclusion of the game. So it looks like we'll be wrapping up Mass Effect 1, and then I'm immediately going to start my playthrough of Mass Effect 3. You might say, why are you jumping from 1 to 3? 2 reasons. The first reason is because I just played Mass Effect 2 a year ago. I had no idea there was going to be a Mass Effect Legendary Trilogy. If I had, I probably would have held off on playing it. But I played it only for the second time last year, and it was a completionist run where I went through the game. I teamed up with all the different crew members. I did all of their loyalty missions. All right. So we saw a completionist run of Mass Effect 2 last year. There's absolutely no reason for me to be doing another run of it only a year later. And then in addition to that, being quite honest, which some people apparently have issue with me saying this, the main plot of Mass Effect 2 is literally filler. Mass Effect 2 was a filler game because they wanted to make a trilogy, and they wanted to improve upon the formula of the first, but didn't really have much in the realm of story to tell until the third game. So they basically shoved and wedged in a time killer plotline with the collectors that if you skip it, you literally don't miss anything. If you follow the main plot of Mass Effect 1 and then only play Mass Effect 3, you haven't actually missed anything in the main plot. What you will miss is a few characters and their background stories, but outside of that, you miss nothing. It's pretty hilarious. Now, this is just true, okay? This is true. And I don't know why people seem to be like up in arms about this fact. It's just a true statement that, it's a filler game. When I played Mass Effect 2, I said as much during the playthrough. I said, man, I really like these characters. I like their loyalty missions, but this main story sucks ass. And by the time I beat it, I was like, man, I can't help but feeling that this didn't matter. That this was just, a time killer deal, and we're just waiting for the third game to get all of our answers, right? But apparently some people are very opinionated about this. A lot of people think Mass Effect 2 is the best one. But I'm not playing it again. I just played it a year ago, all right? So that's why, once I beat Mass Effect 1, we're going to jump into 3, okay? So that could be Saturday. Or we could do more Virtua Fighter 5 on Saturday. We'll see how today goes. Saturday night is going to be Danganronpa V3 continuing. We're in the 4th chapter. We've already got some interesting mystery aspect to it. People investigating some things, trying to figure stuff out about what's going on. So I'm excited to see how this turns out. More development on Saturday night. Maybe we'll even get to the next murder. Who knows? I am off from streaming on Sunday. Okay? I return on Monday with either Mass Effect or Virtua Fighter, depending on what I did on Saturday. Okay? Now, this coming week is going to be interesting, because this coming week is the beginning of the coverage of all of this new game press stuff. All right? Now, first of all, I don't know what my next day off is. I have to figure that out. Since my next day off is Sunday, which would be, the 6th? I have to figure out what my next day off is. What I can tell you is thus. In the next week, there's a lot of stuff going on. On the 10th, there's Summer Games Fest, of which there's rumored to be information about Elden Ring for the first time in, years. Apparently, Elden Ring is finally supposed to have some kind of information released during this Summer Games Fest event on the 10th, okay? On the 11th of June, it is the release of Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart. Obviously, a brand new release, a PS5 exclusive that I want to play. I'm very excited for it, and I'm going to be playing that on release. On the 12th, supposedly E3 begins. And on the 12th, it's supposed to be the press conferences for Ubisoft and Gearbox Software. All right? On the 13th, E3 continues. It's supposed to be the press conference for Microsoft and Bethesda. They're a combined press conference now because they're the same company. Square Enix, or Enix, however you want to pronounce it, Warner Brothers, and the PC Gaming Show. Now, admittedly, the PC Gaming Show is always a non-event, but definitely those other three could be pretty big. All right? On June 14th, supposedly it's supposed to be Take-Two Interactive and Capcom. On June 15th, it's supposed to be Nintendo and Bandai Namco. And hint, hint, Bandai Namco are the makers of Elden Ring. So, that's pretty crazy, but if you think about it, think about this. The 10th is Summer Games Fest. The 11th is Ratchet & Clank. 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, every single day, there's game press conferences. It's like, wait a minute. That's like a full week, so when on earth am I going to have a day off, right? What I need to do is I need to take a look at my wife's work schedule. I need to try to align a day off sometime in there, all right? So there's going to be a day that I can't cover everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to happen. There's nothing I can do. I can't be here every single day nonstop. There's got to be a day during the week when, number one, I go grocery shopping and do errands and the like, and, I spend time with my family. It's just got to happen, all right? So I'm going to take a look and try to figure this out, all right? I don't have that information for you yet, okay? But I will let you know when I figured this out more fully. Now that we actually know that literally, every day there's something going on, okay? At this point, it doesn't seem to matter. No matter what day I take off. If I take off the 10th, then I'm going to miss out. Well, I wouldn't take off the 10th, by the way, because this Sunday, which is the 6th, is my next day off, right? So, I don't know. What I would say is, we'll figure it out, okay? But no matter what, there has to be a day there that I have off, and there's nothing much I can do about it, okay? It also has to align with my wife's work schedule, which I don't know right now, okay? So let's see what happens, but I will let you know once I figure out my schedule, what my days off are, everything, okay? So here's how it's going to work. On days when there's no major announcements or press events, I'll be doing major gameplay streams. I'll be continuing on with Mass Effect, which is going to go into Mass Effect 3 now, Fallout New Vegas, and Virtua Fighter 5. The night streams are going to be things such as Danganronpa, I'm probably going to go back to New Pokemon Snap because I want to finish it up, and I'm near the end of the game, so probably another 1 or 2 streams will wrap that up. And yes, I'd like to bring back Divinity 2, which has been on and off on hold. I think I've played it twice in the last month, so obviously I'd like to bring back Divinity 2 if possible, back to the mix. And probably Virtua Fighter, you know. So those will be the things that I play as like the night streams. Maybe, of course, Call of Duty probably once a week too. Okay? On a day when there's obviously a new release like Ratchet and Clank, yes, I'll be playing that during that day. Okay? That'll be my big focus for that day will be said game. On a day when there's major press events, if I deem it something important, like for example, Ubisoft. Usually Ubisoft is a pretty good press conference, even though a lot of the times it ends up being kind of boring. It could be pretty important, all right, at the same time. Especially because Ubisoft seems that they are redoing their whole strategy. Okay? So we'll see. But probably Ubisoft is important. Gearbox, not so much. I mean, Gearbox doesn't do that much in the realm of games these days, right? I think they do Borderlands. What else is Gearbox doing right now, right? Obviously Microsoft and Bethesda is huge. Square Enix, usually pretty big. Warner Brothers, usually pretty big because, you know, not only are they going to be games such as Mortal Kombat and Injustice, but they have a bunch of other games under their umbrella, like the Batman games and stuff that are currently being developed. So that could be a big one. Take-Two is interesting because Take-Two has a ton under their umbrella, but you have no idea what on earth they're going to be talking about. They could be very well talking about Grand Theft Auto, or Max Payne, or Bully, right? Or it could just be GTA Online and no one cares. So you never know. As for Capcom, here's another one that could be completely hit or miss. Capcom could be announcing Street Fighter 6. Capcom could be announcing major improvements and expansions to the Resident Evil franchise. Capcom could be bringing back Devil May Cry again. Or Capcom could be talking about mobile games, right? We don't know. We don't know what the hell this Capcom event's going to be. Nintendo, I mean, Nintendo usually will announce a bunch of stuff about their first party, but supposedly the focus this year is this new Nintendo Switch Pro that's been rumored for so long, which quite frankly, I'm not too interested in. So I guess it really depends on what Nintendo does present. And of course, Bandai Namco, as I said, could be Elden Ring, could be Tekken. We don't know. So all of these press conferences are kind of what ifs, all right? So what I will say is this. We don't know the time of these events yet. Like, for example, Summer Games Fest supposedly starts on the 10th, but we don't know shit about it. Like, we don't know anything about what's actually going on the 10th right now. If a date finally gets announced, not a date, excuse me, a time gets announced for all these events, what I will try to do is figure out, do they align with my streaming schedule? And if they do, then what we will likely do, for example, let's say Microsoft and Bethesda's conference starts at, like, I don't know, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. We'll sit here and watch it together, all right? Instead of me doing a typical stream, we'll sit here and we'll all watch it online together. I will be chatting in a stream chat with you guys live while the event takes place, okay? Then, as soon as that event ends, I will start up my stream for my typical recap and reactions event. What I usually do is I watch the event live with you guys, and then I immediately go live to give you a recap of everything I just saw, and then all my opinions and reactions to what we just saw. The thing is, this year there may just be too much going on. If literally the 10th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th all have press events, plus we've got Ratchet and Clank on the 11th, that's way too much to cover. I mean, I'm not going to not play games for that many days. You know what I mean? Like, that's an exorbitant amount of stuff going on. I don't want to not play games for a week. That's ridiculous. And I think what it is because it's an all digital event this year, it's kind of changed the way that this information is going to be delivered. I get the feeling most of these events will only be about 45 minutes to an hour long. But because it's digital, it's all split up. You see, it's not all consolidated like it used to be, all consolidated within 2-3 days tops. Now we got a whole week of it. Okay, so we're gonna have to try to figure this out. And the bottom line is, I just cannot be here every single day. I guarantee you, during that week, there'll be 1 or 2 days where I'm not gonna be able to cover the stuff, and it's gonna basically be maybe a summary. What I'm actually thinking of doing, which I've already talked about previously this week. Okay? Maybe at the end of all of this. So maybe around, say, let me take a look at the calendar here. Maybe around, say, June 16th. Let's take a look when that would be. That would be like a Wednesday. So maybe around like this June 16th or June 17th. Okay? Maybe what I will do is I will then do a podcast style show. And what the purpose of that show would be is to basically summarize what everyone did at all of their press conferences. All right? Give you my opinions on the stuff and do kind of a best and worst of Summer Games Fest / E3 countdown. All right? So this would be something special, obviously. This would not be just a normal show, normal gameplay for me. This would be something outside of the normal comfort zone because it's going to be kind of an abridged thing where I summarize everything all at once. Because quite frankly, I mean, I'm looking at my calendar right now. And the 6th is my day off. That's this Sunday. I mean, the next logical day off that I could have would likely be like the next Sunday or Monday. Okay? Which would be the 13th or the 14th. But both of those days, there's things scheduled to be press conferences. I can't be here for every single thing, you know? And like I said, I don't want the 10th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th to just be me covering conferences. I want to play games. I want to have fun. I want to have fun gameplay streams too. So I don't see how I could possibly be covering all of this. It's just so weird this year. Typically E3 is 3 days. Typically E3 is like Saturday or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And usually on Sunday you have 2-3 conferences. Monday you have 2-3 conferences. Tuesday you have the one left over. And that's it. It's done. This year it's like a whole week plus Ratchet and Clank in there. So I'm going to have to try to figure this out. Let me speak with my wife later today to try to figure out her work schedule and figure out what the ideal or best time or day or days in there is for me to be taking off and go from there. Okay? Fair enough? Alright. And so like I said, likely at the end of that week, maybe like the 17th, the 18th, one of those days, I will do a summarized podcast, like, you know, best and worst of Summer Games Fest and E3, where I'll try to summarize everything in one place for everyone to give you my overall thoughts on everything that happened. And by the way, it's very likely with all those events going on, we're now going to have a huge perspective on what's going on for the rest of the year for gaming. We'll finally have release dates for all the games we're wondering about. You know, it's going to happen for sure. We're going to get all this information in the next week or two. So, it's going to be a crazy week or two there, but, you know, again, I will do my best to cover it, but I can't promise you that every day I'll be covering every single thing. Especially because right now we don't have any times. We don't know what time any of this shit is. So without knowing the time frame, I can't promise anything. Okay? Now, a couple quick things. No, I am not playing Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. I don't see the point. The game is essentially not even a whole game. It's just an expansion for Final Fantasy VII Remake from last year. The only new content it adds is a few new missions with Yuffie. That's it. And then basically it's the original game remade for PS5 or whatever. It's not a big deal. People are overhyping it because they were such fanboys of Resident Evil. They're such fanboys of Final Fantasy VII that they're acting like it's some giant new game. It's not. It certainly just looks like if you're dying for more expansion content because you really liked Final Fantasy VII so much last year, you get a little bit. It's like an appetizer, right? So, no, I really don't have any interest in it at all. If it were a full-on semi-sequel, yeah, I'd be excited. It's not. It's just a little bit of expansion content. So I don't really care to play that game. It's not on my agenda, okay? However, I am excited for Mario Golf this month. That seems to be a game that's going to be unique and different. Not only are you playing a sport, but then you do like party-style combat mechanics in between, and it looks like it's going to be a neat game, something different from Nintendo. I'm going to be checking that out. I'm definitely checking out Ratchet and Clank. Now, what else am I checking out this month? I don't know, because I don't know what's coming out, because I get the feeling we're going to get answers about that in the next week to 2 weeks with these events, you see? As all these events pan out and we get all this new information about new release dates and stuff, maybe there'll be games dropping out of nowhere. And so those will be added into my schedule. I can tell you right now, what I'm definitely doing in June is Fallout New Vegas, Mass Effect 3, trying out Virtua Fighter 5. Don't know if I'll have longevity, but trying it out. And Ratchet and Clank. Like, those are the 4 absolute definite major things that I'm doing on my streams. But there may be more things added depending on what happens at all these events coming up. Okay? So I hope that sounds good to you. I know it's confusing. I wish that I had more definitive, data. But I think that right now, we're just getting, like, for example, Timbo Slice literally just tipped me and says, oh, here's a few times that were just released. So these times weren't even present until right now. He just tipped me $1.30. He says, so Square Enix, hold on, because let me open up the schedule again. I had it right in front of me. He says Square Enix will be at 12:15 a.m. Pacific time. No, p.m. Pacific time. So there you go. That's one that we could definitely watch live together. Microsoft is 10 a.m. Okay, we could do that too. So we could do Microsoft at 10 a.m., do my recap reactions, and then immediately watch Square Enix and do recap reactions of that. Nintendo will be 9 a.m. See, that one we're not going to do. That one more than likely, you know, it'll be at 9 a.m. I'll just watch it back and I'll let you know on my streams. I'm not going to do a major thing. Unless they, like, announce a ton of shit, which I really don't foresee. I'm probably not going to be doing too much for that one. And that's it. Just those 3 are the only confirmed times so far. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Ubisoft as well is also 12 p.m. on June 12th. No, 1 p.m. Ubisoft is June 12th at 1 p.m. That one we could do too. All right. I'm going to have to start adding times and stuff. So, I'm going to screen grab this. Yeah, see, June 12th, 1 p.m., we could do that. June 13th, 10 a.m. for Microsoft, 12:15 for Square Enix, we could do that. All right. All right. Well, more information to come. All right. I know I'm talking a lot about this, but we'll take a look at it once more dates are available. And again, I have to speak with my wife about what would be one of those days I definitely can't be here. You know, I definitely want to be here for Ratchet and Clank on the 11th. Summer Games Fest is the 10th, and my day off is Sunday, which is the 6th. So obviously I'm not going to take the 10th or 11th off. That's too soon. So I would say one of those days between the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, one of those days I have to take off. Okay? So let's see what happens and go from there. All right? All right. All right. That was a good big segment. I got to get that out of the way. It was important, obviously, guys. Thank you for listening. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like my content and you support these streams and you want to see me continue to be successful, please tip me during the streams. All right? That's the best way that you can contribute right now. Now, listen. We do have a memberships goal for the month of June. It's 250 memberships. For every 25 memberships we earn, we unlock a new emote for the stream. And if we get 250 memberships, I'm going to do a celebratory reward event. It could be the return of the Indies Marathon, it could be the return of the Rageathon, or it could be a retrospective event, depending on what you guys think you would like to see. Okay? I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I'm going to be taking in your opinions during live streams over the course of the next week or two to see what you guys want. Please, by all means, become a member of the channel. You get so many benefits, including unlocking emotes for the channel, getting a cool chat crown badge in the chat, getting your name highlighted in the chat, okay? And it helps me out as well. Thank you to anyone who does. If you would like to do super chats or you'd like to do super stickers, those are also available, and they're great ways to contribute. I will give a shout out to anyone who becomes a member of the channel or does a super chat or super sticker who is not trying to derail the channel with toxicity or negativity, okay? But the best way to contribute right now is by tipping me. Why? Because I don't get paid by YouTube for anything that we've done here on the channel until the 3rd week of June. And until then, I need to raise funds on these streams to pay all of my bills. Well, actually, tomorrow, my car payment's due. And then within 2 days of that, one of my condo payments is due. And then within about 3 more days, the other condo payment is due, and then my internet bill is due. By the way, by the 15th of this month, I need to raise enough to pay my mortgage. You see? So all this is coming from tips and your crowdfunding during the streams. That's why I still have the $200 tips goals every stream. Once I start getting paid by YouTube, that can go back to how it used to be. But I need to get to that point first, and we're not even close. We're 3 weeks away. So by all means, if you like the content, please support it via tipping. That's the best way to go. Remember that we have tip goals in effect. If we raise $50 during a stream, I'll put on the Gunner glasses. If we raise $100, I'll put on a vest. Excuse me. How do you tip? You can look at the description of this stream, and there's a link to do it. Or you can type !tip into the stream chat. You will get a pop-up on screen if you tip. As a way of saying thank you, I'll give you a shout-out as well. Now, yesterday, things did not go so well. All right? On my first stream yesterday, which was the conclusion of Returnal, we got about halfway to the tips goal. Last night, we didn't even get halfway to the tips goal. That was one of the worst, slowest days for support that I've had in months. And that's not good because I need to have good days to pay all my bills. All right? So I'm hoping with what we're doing today, all right, hopefully, we'll do all right, right? We'll do all right, and we'll make up for it, especially with the fact that we're doing a new fighting game I never played before, some exciting Call of Duty content tonight. I'm hoping that things will go well. I don't know if they will, but please, by all means, again, please support if you can. All right? Fair enough? All right, so let's go ahead and start updating stuff. Well, first of all, our first tip of the day here, let's see, was Timbo. Let's get Timbo sliced up on the leaderboard. Shit. Oh my goodness. Timbo slice. And then I just received a $1.31 tip from Sanitary Accident. It says Taiwan #1. Okay, then. Taiwan #1 indeed. So actually, Sanitary Accident is now the top tipper of the day. What a name. Great. What exactly is a sanitary accident? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I see. It's the whole silly, the John Cena. Oh, I got it. I forgot about that. That was last week's news. That John Cena apparently, in some kind of an interview or press release, had talked about Taiwan being a country. And then apparently he got insane criticism from China because China is strongly against Taiwan being called a country for their own political reasons. And because his movies release in China, he was strongly pressured by all of Hollywood to apologize, which he did. He made a public apology saying that, oh, Taiwan is not a country and yada, yada, yada. And now people are like, wow, John Cena is basically a Chinese bootlicker, right? Like, he just kissed the butt of the Chinese government because he wanted to make money in China and didn't want to get blacklisted in Hollywood. I don't know anything about it. This is funny because we talked about it last week. And I was like, I don't know anything about this situation. I don't know if Taiwan is or is not technically a country or a territory or whatever. I'm the last person to speak about it. I don't know anything about it at all. You guys know me. Remember when I played Bully? I can't even name a state in the United States. I can't name countries around the world. I can't name shit. I don't know anything about this geography stuff. So you're asking the wrong person. I couldn't answer either way. Okay? Do I condemn John Cena's actions? I can't. I don't know anything about it. Again, if I had answers, like if I looked it up, oh yes, it is or isn't a country, and it's controversial because China says this or this. I don't know. I don't really understand the situation, nor quite frankly do I care to. I'm a gamer. I don't want to get involved in this shit. I don't have anything to do with it. I have no stake in it. So I'm certainly not working for Hollywood. Okay. Hello, Alfred Aponte. How are you today? Good to see you. I have many fans in China. I find that very hard to believe. Especially because their internet is completely censored, right? Metal Leaf says, "So boy, what's going on, Metal Leaf? Good to see you today." What's up, DSPGaming? Good to see you today as well. How's everyone doing today? Dacky Smurf is here. What's up, everybody? Just the Facts Man says, "Man, it's really hard to do what John Cena did. He pissed off both the right and the left at the same time." Now no one likes John Cena. Wow. He totally fucked up. That's pretty funny. Hello, Adam Outlaw. Turtle Dude is here today as well. Oh, is that true? Joseph says that they have pictures of me on CCC posters all over China. Oh, wow. I'm the unofficial mascot. That's great. It's great to know. It was like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer was inadvertently made like a mascot in some foreign country. He was like, what the fuck? Do I think I'll play matches with viewers? Asks Kuzaragama. Well, let me put it this way. Today, the whole purpose of today's stream is to test the game. To see if I like it, to try to get a basic understanding of the game and its game mechanics. To see if there's, I don't even know if this game has a story mode or a training mode. I don't know anything about it. We gotta mess around with the game. I gotta try to learn some basic stuff, okay? Chances are, unless the game is insanely easy to jump into, which I doubt that I'm going to be playing the game online today. How am I going to do that if I don't even know what I'm doing, right? So chances are today will be learning the game, messing around with modes, trying out characters, etc. Now, if people like today's stream and say, oh, this game seems interesting or whatever, I wish we would play more of it, then yeah, long term, maybe I'll, if the game allows it, because again, who knows? Yeah, I would say, oh yeah, I could do it, but who knows? You look at Street Fighter Anniversary Collection where the game doesn't allow you to do shit, but maybe I could set up a lobby, have people join and we play each other. Maybe I just do random lobbies online, people try to join them. I don't know how the game works at all. So we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it is, and we'll go from there. Timbo Slices tipped me $1.30. And he says, with God of War and now Horizon Zero Dawn, which is not Horizon Zero Dawn, it's actually Horizon Forbidden West, being announced for PS4 and PS5, that it will take away from a true next-gen game. Seems like it's just a graphical update for PS5 for both. I feel it will hold back the game, as it cannot use next-gen power for gameplay. Well, I think today, this morning, actually, the game director of Horizon came out in another interview and kind of explained a bit about what the differences would be between the versions. And he said one of the major differences is the way that they're rendering and dealing with water graphics. That on PS4 versus PS5, the water will look completely different. On PS5, they're actually going to use this new technology that will render it differently and more beautifully, while on PS4, it's going to basically use the old school stuff. So there's going to be differences like that. Now, obviously, there's no way that the PS4 can hold up to the graphical fidelity of what the PS5 will be able to do. I don't know. I don't know how different it could be for having it be cross-platform, quite frankly. Now, the news that came out this morning was that apparently Horizon Forbidden West and God of War already were planned on being cross-platform because those games had started development on PS4 to begin with, and then the PS5 hardware was made available at some point during the course of development. And so then they said, oh, well, we can upgrade, but they still had plans to have those games kind of be cross-platform anyway. Apparently, the game where this was not the case was Gran Turismo 7, which now has been announced as cross-platform, but apparently that game very much so was only being developed for PlayStation 5, and now they do have to downscale it to work on PS4, so that game might actually be hurt. But I don't really think there's going to be a giant difference with Horizon or God of War. I think those games already were kind of being developed for that last gen, and I don't think it'll be a huge difference. I think it's more games like GT7 that may have an issue or look way worse. Who knows? Again, we don't know. We have no dates for these games or anything, so we very well may be jumping the gun. They may have tons of time to do this stuff, right? Buttfucker3000 asks, hey, why'd I stop doing game reviews? Hey, I stopped doing game reviews because I stopped focusing on being a YouTuber, and instead I became a full-time live streamer. And when I did that, I focused on interactive streams. Game reviews are not very interactive streams. A game review is essentially me telling you what I think about a game I played, and that's very different than doing gameplay and interacting and having a good social experience with my viewing audience. YouTube basically forced my hand with that, because in 2016, 5 years ago, I decided I was going to spend half my time on streaming and half my time on edited content offline. I made a channel called KO Gaming. The channel blew up within the year that it launched. I had a video that had over 1 million views. I had several videos with hundreds of thousands of views. The channel was very healthy and doing very well. And then YouTube demonetized it for absolutely no reason. Every video I uploaded to the channel would immediately be demonetized with no explanation at all, and YouTube wouldn't even answer my questions about it. So I said, fuck YouTube. I don't care about this shit anymore. There's no point in trying to be a full-time YouTuber. So I'm, instead of doing this edited content, I'm just going to be a streamer. And the rest is history. Since I became a full-time streamer, I've been successful. So it's that simple. For me to go back to doing edited style game reviews and the like is taking time away from streaming. And it's not worth it because YouTube is a lost cause when it comes to any kind of trying to get growth or viewership on videos on YouTube. It's impossible unless you fit into two categories. You either have to be a full-time drama hound, meaning you do gossip and you do dirt on people, right? Or you basically do stupid prank staged shit, dumb shit to get kids to watch your content. Those are the two things that are popular on YouTube when it comes to on-demand videos. Outside of that, trying to get noticed for legitimate content, you might as well just be talking to the fucking wall. It's impossible to get noticed on YouTube for anything anymore. You know, DSPGaming at one point was in the top 20 gaming channels on YouTube, and then it got completely erased. So there's no point in me even bothering with that shit. If you want to see my opinion on a game, when I beat it, in the very last part of that playthrough, I will give you a summarized opinion of the game. Perfect example, yesterday I finished Returnal. I did a 10-minute talk at the end of the game about what I thought, my full thoughts about the game, and they were very harsh, by the way, because I did not pull any punches when it came to criticizing that game, because my God, was that game completely disappointing. So that's where you're going to get that information. I am not going to be doing any kind of separate reviews unless there's extenuating circumstances. All right? But it's pretty much not going to happen. Okay? No, I'm not going back to Twitch. Eric, I've already explained this multiple times. I don't want to be at that site. Twitch has completely mistreated me. 100% unfairly treated me. I'm not going back to a place that treats me like shit. Fuck that. You know? Even though, admittedly, I love the community over there that I built up. The chat over there is much better. I am not going back to that site that mistreated me for no fucking reason. I did absolutely nothing wrong and got treated like dirt. So they can have their fucking stupid hot tub streams and their disgusting shit, and they can have all their garbage running on their site and make money off their trash. I don't want to be there anymore. No, Twitch never responded. Someone just said, did Twitch ever actually give you any kind of a response when you actually went back to them and said, hey, you know, this is unfair, and I want answers, and I want my partnership back? No, they never responded, and they're never going to. They're never going to because they don't have evidence of anything. There's no evidence that I used hateful slurs because I don't. It's bullshit. It's an excuse, a blanket excuse they used for horse shit. You know, whether I was mass flagged by trolls and they just got tired of reviewing the logs of it or whatever. It's complete and utter bullshit. It's not legit. So fuck them. I'm not going back to their fucking site. Timbo Slice tipped me $1.30 and says, will you play Knockout City? It's a PvP dodgeball game. IGN gave it a 9. Another reason why IGN reviews are a joke, an arcade online game, a 9. Of course I'm not playing that. Listen, I'm in the midst of so much good stuff right now, right? All my playthroughs I'm doing are pretty entertaining and fun. We got new stuff right around the corner. Why am I going to drop everything to play this dodgeball game? All right, you want to know who dropped everything to play the dodgeball game? People that were paid to drop everything to play the dodgeball game. Just like every one of these stupid games that you see, all of a sudden every content creator stops what they're doing to run and play this game to make it virally popular. They're paid to do it. Who the fuck cares about that game? Nobody. that game will likely be dead within a couple of months, just like every one of the same thing. Hey, everyone remember Destruction All-Stars? Oh, yeah, that game that was supposed to be a $70 launch title for PS5, and then it became a free for PS Plus game. Did you hear the news? The game is 100% dead. People who are trying to play it can't even find a match. So now the game developers, which they never planned on doing, are actually redesigning the game to have bots in it, so that the bots will play so people can actually play the game, because it's unplayable right now. There's not enough people playing it. Even though the game just came out, what, 2 months ago? Right? So I'm not too worried about this dodgeball game. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll become the next Rocket League. And if so, maybe at some point I'll check it out. But this game literally released out of nowhere. Not a single person was talking about it until all of a sudden everyone was talking about it. Gee, what a coincidence. It's not totally like people weren't paid to do that or anything, right? So I have no interest in this dodgeball game. Maybe someday, but certainly not now. I'm too busy. Okay? All right, anything else, guys? Or are we good? Sanitary accident. To me, another $1.30 says, what in general is your favorite color of candy? Red, green, yellow, or orange? Brown, because I like chocolate. That's true. The truth is chocolate is my favorite candy. So definitely, anything chocolate-wise is my favorite color, brown. I don't know if that's supposed to be a joke because your name is Sanitary Accident and you knew that I like chocolate. But it's just me being honest. Okay? All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, is that it? I guess so. Let us take a break. Okay? Thank you for watching the pre-stream. It'll be a short break here, a few minutes, for me to use the restroom. And when we come back, I'm trying Virtua Fighter 5. I don't know what to expect. We're going to find out together live for the first time ever. I'll try the game out and see what it's all about and go from there, all right? I recommend you, during this time, you grab a drink or a snack for yourself. Okay? And I'll be back soon. All right, guys, thank you. A brief break, and then I'll be back with Virtua Fighter premiering. See you in a few.